Hello everyone and welcome to the Intro to DG16. This will be presented by Jamie Speck. Jamie is our Senior Training Specialist for Pulse Software and has been working with the software for over 20 years, so you're in good hands. Let's go ahead and get started now that everyone has arrived. Anybody who joins in late, this will be recorded, so not to worry, we will have a recording posted after the event. So hi Jamie, welcome.
Hi Ed.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. DG16 is known quite simply as creative personalization. It takes your personalization to an entirely new level. Today's agenda is quite simple. We're just going to go over DG16 and what's new. And this applies to you whether you are new to Pulse in general or whether you have an older version of any level of the Pulse software. So let's go ahead and move forward. Now usually we put all the special offers at the end, but we don't want everybody to wait to know that we have our biggest savings of the year for DG16. You can save 30%, and this great deal expires on December 31st, so be sure to take advantage of it. DG16 offers more ways to creatively personalize products than ever before. Below is a sampling of some of the different fonts that are available with the system. DG16 comes with over 180 standard fonts. So if you can't find the font you need, then you can just use the digitizing software to make your own. But odds are you'll have everything you need within those 180 fonts. For those of you familiar with what was the Pulse Cloud, you can forget everything that you have learned about it because it's all new. The Pulse Cloud Designer allows a full freeform designer in a browser. That means that you can be out to lunch and design anything that you want by logging into the cloud, bringing up images, adding lettering, and even sending it to your machine. So Jamie, we used to think you could escape when you go to lunch, but not anymore. You have to work all the way through it. What I recommend here for the cloud is after the webinar, reach out for a personal demo on it because it's a really cool feature. How many times have you left your office and wished you had your security device with you because you needed to do something really quick? Well, now all you need is your internet connection. You can do it from your mobile phone, your iPad, or even a laptop computer. One of the biggest new features, which Jamie will cover when we go into the software, is the ribbon feature. So the ribbon feature if you're used to Microsoft Word or virtually any modern day program, they all have a ribbon feature. And what the ribbon interface does is it dynamically changes according to the tool that you're on. So that way you have less hunting to do. You pick one tool and then your bar changes and gives you all the properties that you need for that particular tool. So Jamie, why don't you go ahead and show that.
So you can see up here with our screen open that you have this particular view of that ribbon. But if I come in here, I'm going to go ahead and start another new file. If I want to just come in here and do some lettering, first of all, we have the new fly out toolbars. So you don't have tools everywhere, they're going to fly out so you can easily find what you're looking for. So now that I have some text on the screen, you can see that the ribbon bar has changed up here, so you have all of your information, whether it be the font, if you're going to go ahead and type in your new text, if you misspelled something or you want to change the word, it's all going to be right here.
So go ahead and click on a different tool one. So you're saying that you'll get different features available if you click on a different tool.
So if you're just editing and you grab a tool, you're going to see that this is going to change up here, and you've got your different things, whether it's changing a fill pattern, you can add your lock stitches, you can add your trims. You'll also see that your height is going to stay up here. So you've got your height, you've got your width, you can rotate. So tools that you used to have to look for are now all going to be on that ribbon bar.
And then at the top where it says design, it shows the segment you're in, but it also shows your overall design properties. So what happens if you click on design properties? That's the same as going to file design properties. So you have everything right at your fingertips with the ribbon interface. Cool. So the color it allows for easy lightening, darkening or color tints of a design. That's a new feature which kind of gives you families of colors. Let's go ahead and cover the next item too, and then we can switch over and talk about that. So in addition to color it, we have Wordit. And Wordit is your basic simple shape that gets into a word collage. So there's hundreds of pre-digitized emojis for creative, unique, and humorous designs. So let's go ahead and switch the screen and show these two cool features.
So with your Wordit, you're going to see you'll get a screen that comes up. You can select your shape. You can tell it what it's going to be as far as your stitch type goes. And then put your words in.
And what do? You separate it by a comma?
Yep, you have a comma in there to separate it. You can add other ones. Pick your font. And it fills it all in.
And then you can control the size and the way it fills by all the settings on the
Right.
box. So you click OK, and then it brings it up on the screen, so you can send that to your machine or you can continue to work with it.
So then we can come over here, and we were talking about color it, so we can come in here with color it. And obviously you can do things like lighten and darken. You can actually just have it randomly pick colors for you.
So if you said lighten, it would keep the same color family. It just lightly, slightly changes the different colors. And every time you change, I notice that it's showing you the actual thread colors that it's using. And you can switch from thread brand to thread brand in that case as well, correct?
Correct. Then we can also pick the themes, which I think is what you were bringing up before, where we could come in and just pick different colors based on a theme.
So that's baby boy.
There's baby girl with your pinks and your purples.
That's cool. Well, that makes it easy because I am not very color coordinated. So that kind of helps. Cool.
Then we can go ahead and look at the other one you were talking about. So we can come in here with that emoji tool, because we know how all of us love to use those on our phones. Well, now we can sew those out. So you can come in here and all those emojis that you love are all over here.
And how do you get one to the screen?
You just gotta find the one you want. And then you're going to click and drag. And then hit your enter key to generate.
And can I do more than one, or?
You could do more than one, you could pick a different one, but we have a really cool tool. So if this is the one that you like, so I'm gonna select this guy. We've got our new random repeat tool. So if I want to go in and randomly repeat these, I can go in and do that.
That's cool. So it changes the size, rotation, everything automatically.
Automatically.
Neat. All right, let's go back. Another really cool feature is one-click conversion. You can right-click on an icon to convert that segment into a different stitch type. And that is for digitizing levels of software. So if you have a object and you want it to become a complex fill, for example, you just select the object and you right-click on the complex fill and it converts it. And the point of that is it really is a time saver, because every time you can eliminate 1 click or 2 clicks or 3 clicks, even though it's a few seconds, many seconds per design and throughout the day add up to a lot of time savings. And the other thing is you can drag anchor paths. So you can quickly edit your anchor paths. You can convert vector lines into perfect curves, click and drag paths to achieve results that match your background image. So that's a really cool feature as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at one-click conversion and drag anchor path.
Let's say we're starting off with our pen tool.
So you're saying that rectangle box is going to turn into our little canoe looking item?
It can.
I don't believe it.
So the first thing you said we can do is we can come up here and just right click and make a complex fill. I don't have to do equals anything. I
That's
can make
neat.
it do that. So once we have that, then we can go in and you can go into your drag anchor path.
So even though that was just a point, you're just grabbing anywhere on the path and
There's
dragging.
no point.
There's
no points here.
Gotcha.
So if I go ahead and hide this, there's no points here. I just drag that,
Okay.
and it immediately let me drag anywhere, even if there's not a point.
Got it.
And then the other thing that we could do is if we go ahead, we can actually add points really quick now, which is really fun. So we can add a couple points and then move on. And you can make all these cool things. So we can come in here with our pen tool, and like we said, we can draw this shape. We had that one click, so I can come up here, right click up here. There's your complex fill.
That's cool. So again, you just right clicked on the icon and it turned it to that. So if you want to right click on a run tool, it'll change it from a complex fill to a run.
Yep. Right click on your tool.
And then back to a complex fill just by right clicking.
Yep.
Cool. Let's turn the stitches off.
So again, we've got those flyouts again, so we can go over here to our drag anchor path. And again, you can just start moving these around. So there's no point there.
And then of course you can just edit as you need to just by moving your anchor points out. That's really cool. And if you want to add a border to this, you just hit Shift B. And it adds the border. Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and switch back to the slides. I like this feature. So you in the DG16 you can create an outline shape and convert that outline into any stitch type. So you can follow the outline of a shape, you can put a circle or box around it. So basically you're creating a boundary of that shape. A lot of times you'll do a letter and you'll want to do an outline around it, but you'll want a little gap between the shape and the outline. This boundary is a perfect option for that. And then also we have another feature which is called Combine and Join, which is a huge time saver. Combine and Join allows you to digitize a portion of a shape and then simply mirror it into a closed segment. And the mirrored segment will combine with the original automatically. And again, you could do this before. Before you would have to create half the shape, you'd choose Reflect, you'd reflect the object to create the whole object, then you'd have to select it, then you'd have to combine it, and you'd have to set your start and stop points and all that. So Combine and Join is taking all those numerous steps and just putting it into a single operation. So let's go ahead and check this out.
So we can come over here, we can create this star. So we're going to create our running stitch. So now we can go ahead and go to our auto create boundary. So here's that distance you were talking about, so you can tell it how far away you want that to be. So let's say we're going to go 2 millimeters. And then you can do an outline, or like we were saying, you could select a shape if you just wanted to put a shape around it. We're going to go with that outline. And then we can tell it what stitch type we want. So now we've got that 2mm one over here. There's that tiny little gap we were talking about between the inside and the outside.
And if you wanted the gap to be larger,
then you would have had your other piece be larger when we had that. So right now we have a 2mm gap, but again, sometimes you're trying to line up those little outlines, and you can have as many outlines as you want. You can keep going.
Cool.
So we could even come here and do it again.
So now if that was an applique cut or something, you can just
Cut
make that an
out.
applique cut segment.
Right, piece of
Love
art
it.
right now.
Love it, love it. Okay, let's go ahead and show combine and join.
Let's do our little mustache over here. So here's our half. So once we have our half, we're going to come up here and we're going to go to our reflect, combine and join. I'm going to flip it. There we go.
What else do you have to do to make it happen?
That's all you have to do.
That's it?
That's it. Now you can
So if you
go
right,
up here, if you right click on this complex fill, there it is.
Alrighty, that's a neat feature. All right, let's go ahead and go back and see our presentation. Okay, so there's a sequin paintbrush. You can just click and drag across an area of sequins to change the color or style. It makes it very easy to make changes to multicolored sequin designs. If you happen to have the sequin option and you want to see this in action, you can just reach out after the webinar. So next we have is complex satin. So complex satin is a huge time saver because in the past, whenever you had complex shapes that you wanted to be a satin stitch, you had to do them in multiple sections. Doing a complex fill was easy. You just made a shape, put a hole in it, drew whatever you wanted and said make it a fill. Well, you can never do that with a satin stitch until now. So let's go ahead and just show a basic example of this.
So here's that shape you were talking about. So we're going to go ahead and pick our complex satin. And again, we can put one angle line and generate.
And it went around the hole and it kept everything going. So right now it did it as a fill stitch, but you could always come up and just change that to a satin. And that satin is too wide, which is why the shape disappeared. But when you get it small enough so that the stitch types aren't too long, there you go. So what button did you just press?
4.
4 is what?
Fit selection to window.
There you go.
That's
How
my
many of you
favorite
didn't
feature.
know that? So 1 is one-to-one. 2 fits everything to the window. 3 toggles your 3D on and off. And 4 fits whatever you have selected to the window. See that? Everybody can learn because I just learned that this second. Okay, so let's go ahead and why don't you go ahead and show the rounded corners feature.
Okay.
This is really helpful. A lot of times when you have a shape, you'll do a rectangle but need a rounded corner of some type. Now can you do multiple corners at once? And how did you do that?
You're holding the shift key.
So you can do one corner at a time, or you can do multiple corners just by dragging.
Right.
So you don't have to add angle lines. You don't have to add nodes. You don't have to change the point type. You just click and drag. Excellent. So that's what the DG16 has been designed around. Is I don't want to say simplicity, but efficiency. The ribbon bar, all the one-click tools, and naturally Windows 10 support, official install for Windows 10. The Pulse Cloud with the full editing capabilities, and Pulse Cloud is included at no charge, so you can work away from the office. It's almost like having a second security device without needing one. So our different levels are Composer, which is your basic lettering and editing system. Then you have Creator, which is the ultimate editing system with basic digitizing. Next we have Illustrator Extreme, which is your everyday digitizing system. Artist Plus, which incorporates some advanced features into your digitizing. And then Maestro, which is the all-encompassing, every bell and whistle feature there is. If you're wondering which level is best for you, we're happy to analyze that on an individual basis. But for the most part, Creator is the ideal lettering and editing level. So if you have Composer, please reach out, because Creator is loaded with new features, and it is a perfect spot to take advantage of the update or upgrade offer. And Illustrator Extreme is your ideal digitizing level for companies that want to take on the majority of their digitizing in-house and still just send the occasional design out for outsourcing. So let's go ahead and take question and answers, or actually we'll take questions and provide answers on some of the features that we saw. Okay, so you can just go ahead and type your questions in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer them. All right, here come a few. So here's a question, Jamie. Can I update from a very old version?
Absolutely. You can update or upgrade anything that you already have. If you have an existing Pulse system, we can work with you.
Now, how's that work? Because if I have Scribe, that's no longer an update, correct?
Right, that's an upgrade.
But there's still, I still have a place to go.
You have a place to go.
Okay. And then Composer or Creator or any of the existing levels that we mentioned all have an update.
Right, you can update or you can upgrade. Like we're saying, if there's other features that you might need, you can take advantage of that special and upgrade instead of just going across the board and just getting version 16.
So I think we just answered the next question. The question is the special good for both updates and upgrades?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Okay, let's take another question here. If I upgrade to a higher level, do I need to get DG16? I'm sorry, if I upgrade to a higher level, do I also get the DG16 update as well?
You will have, yes, you will get DG16 whether you update or upgrade.
So I guess what the person was asking, if they have a version 14 Creator and they upgrade to Illustrator Extreme, they're not at version 14 Illustrator Extreme, they also get DG16. Okay. Next question. How do I receive training if I update or upgrade?
We have our webinar scheduled, so anybody who's been over to our website and has been looking around, you probably saw that there is a training section. So we have webinars on our basics as well as our digitizing. So you can sign up and take advantage of that training, especially if you are going from a lower software version and you're upgrading, or even if you're just coming from an older version. You can always take over. Even though you may know the basics, there's a whole lot that's new, and you probably want to go ahead and start at the beginning and take advantage of all the tools that you actually have now.
Alrighty. And then don't forget, you also have a weekly
we do have a weekly
session.
review session.
Alright, so can I still use my older version of software? I don't know why you'd want to, but you can if you need to. So if you have version 15 or 14, right, just because you upgrade to 16 doesn't mean that you have to throw your old version away. Now it will only go back so far,
right? But
most recent versions you can still go back to in a moment of panic. All right, let's go ahead and take one more question here. Actually, it's a good question here too. They're all good. Will this special be extended past the 31st? I guess I can answer that. And as of now, the answer is no. This is a end-of-year special designed to help everybody get those 2018 expenses in, and also take advantage of DG16. I'm sure we'll have various specials throughout next year, but I don't anticipate a 30% special. All right, well, Jamie, thank you so much for taking on the webinar and showing the DG16 features. It's always very enjoyable to see what's new, so I appreciate it.
And I also like to thank you for joining me, and everyone else for taking time out of their day to join us and learn what's new.
Yes, thank you everybody. And if you have any questions, please reach out. You can email care@hsi.us. You can call the 800 number, or you can reach out to your salesperson, or contact support or training. So yes, I'd like to thank everyone as well, and see you next time. Bye.